Crime time
with my bestie.
I'm Jess Vanderdeck, and this is Anna Etches, and we are Crime Time with my bestie.
Hi, bestie.
Hi, bestie. I remember to do the thing.
I'm so proud of you. And it was so smooth.
I know. And it feels weird anyways, so we're just going to jump straight into the garbageness that has currently encompassed the last week, because this is the second time that we're attempting to record this episode.
Yeah, it was a clusterfuck last time.
It was really bad. I had failed miserably to get my notes ready on time. I kept pushing you back by like half an hour. I was like, I need another half an hour, till we started recording at 8:30, which is pretty late for us anyways.
And I live in a flat, so I'm trying to be semi-respectful. I know we're doing a podcast in the evenings, but maybe not doing a podcast at 11 o'clock at night, because that might be when we'd finish.
Yeah, and the notes for this episode are 6 pages, so we were getting to about 9 o'clock and realising that it was getting pretty late, and then my internet just decided to completely shit the bed and glitch and freak out. We were basically talking to nothingness because you were getting a glitch of me, and then you were responding to me like 30 seconds later, and it was just disgusting. So we sort of gave up. We just cut that episode. We had done our whole intro section and we were about to get into the case, and then we just decided to call it quits. Not only is today attempt 2, but in the attempt to get this episode going, my internet was dying again. So we are in the living room. We are back in the original recording space that I was in when we first started. Even though I had such high hopes for my office, I am hardwired into the Wi-Fi, and I'm going to be running cables outside my house in the foreseeable to hardwire internet into my office, because I can't deal with it anymore. I don't want to. I'm so done.
We can't spend 45 minutes trying to set it up. It's too long. But if it helps, you look great. You've got the TV behind you and you've got the soundboards behind you. Yeah. And you look lovely.
Thank you so much. It's quite an aesthetic recording space. I feel like if we ever wanted to do a video kind of medium, I probably would go in here, even though my office artwork background, which is not yet on the wall, is animals wearing human clothing in different aesthetically pleasing frames. So I do quite like that.
It's cool. It's cool either way.
Yeah. But I probably will sound different because it's a very different space. There is a lot of soft furnishings in my living room compared to my office. And if this ends up being glorious, then maybe this will be where I record forevermore, because I'm getting like 200 and something megabytes of speed compared to whatever the office was chugging out.
I mean, we tested my internet speed and it is not doing well, but it, touch wood, is holding up for the moment.
So yeah, round 2. Let's do this.
Let's do this.
How has your week been?
So, the flat above left their bathroom tap on and flooded my flat. And I don't mean just a little bit. I mean, I'm swimming to the different rooms in my flat.
Most people would love the idea of a swimming pool in their house, and I don't think this was what you were going for.
No, not when it's in your hallway or in your bathroom. It's been 2 weeks since the incident happened, and apparently my bathroom ceiling is still soaking wet.
It's impressive. I must admit, you were telling me that they left the tap on? Was it they just like left a tap running?
That's what he said.
And you weren't home. I'm like taking all of your information, I'm sorry.
No, please do.
You went home, and I just couldn't imagine if you had been home, sitting in your living room, and it just starts raining inside, like
That's
Jumanji.
What I'm imagining as well.
Like Jumanji level flooding.
I'm kind of glad I wasn't there, because I think I would have been freaking out a lot more. I was relatively calm when I got home and saw that it was wet everywhere, because I didn't get home until about 11 o'clock the night that I came home, and I was so tired, but I was just like, everything's wet, everything's fucked, I'll deal with it in the morning.
I'm guessing this person wasn't home, because I feel like you would notice if you had a tap running and it was just pouring into downstairs. But if you had been home, like running around the block of flats, like help, and them not being there and just pounding on
inside.
They might have thought you were having a breakdown. Like, it's raining in my house. Oh, gosh.
Everyone else is like, Anna, are you okay?
I'm very sorry about your flooded flat.
I mean, today was the bit that took the absolute biscuit of I went to have a shower and now the hot water no longer works. I don't know if the two are combined, but my flat is breaking down. Whoever has the voodoo doll of my flat needs to give it back.
I was going to say, we need to have like an exorcism or a seance or a cleanse, get some sage out and start burning it, because, yeah, something happened on that day that the flood happened, and it's all God pot. I'm pretty sure you said there was water in your electric board, so you never know.
In my fuse box.
If your fuse box broke, I don't know if that's connected to the boiler. If it is, maybe it's all God's shit.
Maybe. Well, we'll see. I'll have to get someone else round, because apparently someone needs to come round every single day. Love that for me.
If it wasn't any more anxiety inducing, you'd then have to interact with humans from the outside, and strangers at that. They're in your space, touching your things.
Exactly, they're here. You can't be a normal human being. I can't speak normally. I mean, I speak a lot anyway, but I have to speak even more because I've got to fill the silences because I don't know them. Ugh.
And then speak about things that we don't necessarily understand. It's like, oh yes, please explain to me how you need to plasterboard this ceiling. Like, I get the premise.
Exactly.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I just nod, and then my landlord was asking me questions, and I was like, honestly, I'm just regurgitating the words. I have no idea what they actually mean.
At the end of this, you will be able to take up an extracurricular side hobby of handyman work. I don't know, handy person work? I don't know what the term is, I'm sorry.
Yeah, handy person work, but I also just might be able to just regurgitate the words. There's something about overboarding, there's plasterboarding, there was water in my light in the bathroom. Apparently, that's not fine, but when it was in the fuse board, it was kind of fine as long as I didn't stick my finger in it. I don't know.
Water and electrics just feels bad all round. Like, I feel like if someone told me there was water inside my electricals, I would be like, this is wrong, right? I'm sorry. Just throw it away. Just burn it.
That is what they did with the light in the bathroom. Honestly, throw away the whole flat at this point. Just get rid of it.
It's cursed. Super cursed.
So, yeah, you've not had much better a week. Because
No.
we've already done this intro once. So I'll tell your side of the story.
Oh, thank you.
Your cats have been sick.
Yeah, the cats have been sick. They're all better now. Everybody is back to normal. Their toilet habits have been restored. My house has been shampooed multiple times. They somehow picked up a bug, which weirdly, I knew cats could get sick, but I didn't know they could get a stomach bug, which
no, I didn't.
I don't know. I don't see why they wouldn't, but I always just kind of assumed that cats would get a thing, and then it would be, you know, oh, they've eaten something funny, or they've been poisoned. But no, apparently this was just a stomach bug, because one passed it on to the other. So we had a week of vomiting and diarrhea. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna put the TMI maybe. But yeah, so my house took a good plastering of different bodily fluids from cats, and I got to vax everything, which you had lots of experience in with all the flood.
I had to vax up all the water that was in my hallway.
I had to vax up sick. It was great. So yeah, we've lived here for 6 months. I wasn't really expecting to shampoo the carpets after living here for so short of a time, but
because they were new carpets as well.
New carpets as well, so it was quite sad that it had been plastered with sick. But I'm glad that they're back to their normal self and eating regularly, because it was a little bit worrying, especially because Coco, one of our cats, she has cancer. The vets were worried that like her healing would be a little bit slower because of obviously like lowered immune system. But yeah, she is back to her normal self. She's being very loving and cuddly. We've actually had some friends stay with us at the weekend who have a baby, and she was like super chill and like gave the baby a little sniff, came and gave everybody cuddles. It was really sweet.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, really happy that they're back to their normal self, but I would really like to see less of their excrements. Is that a word? Is that the word I want to use? For both my sanity, their sake, and for the sake of my carpet. And then obviously to add insult to injury, then obviously all the technical issues started happening with the podcast. So that was just fantastic. But we honestly thought we were getting to a point where things were getting so good and so positive podcast-wise, and then I had to come along and ruin it.
You'd edited your episode, I edited my episode. We were like getting with it. We were getting on a good run.
Yeah, there was a really good rhythm. Apart from, as I said, my really poor organisation with the notes situation.
Yeah,
I
we
got
can't
them
have
sorted in
everything.
good time. We can't have everything. We can't always be perfect, even though that is definitely not the case for me. I'm on the brink of like complete collapse 90% of the time.
We're both literally towing the edge of like, I'm gonna have a mental breakdown at every opportunity.
It's fine. I have my go-to I'm having a mental breakdown mode, which is shaving off my hair. So
That's the only time I need to be concerned. When you did shave your head last time, I text you like, do I need to do an intervention? Are you okay?
in all fairness, we're not there yet. And I do really love shaving my head because it's like really liberating. I think it's great. So you never know. Maybe it's on the cards for the future.
You look like a great egg.
I'm a super good egg, so we're hoping that won't be the case. I'm not actually having a mental breakdown, I am joking. It's been a week of challenges and it can only get better, right?
Yeah. Touch some wood.
So, but no, yeah, there's my week. Sitting on the floor currently in the living room with a litter tray behind me, which is in a better state than it has been for the last 2 weeks.
See, there's a silver lining.
Yeah. Weirdly, I'm talking a little bit differently and I'm speaking a bit faster, not breathing correctly while sitting on the floor. So I'm really hoping that it doesn't ruin the speaking of the episode because it is my episode. Yay.
I mean, we speak fast anyway. I don't think anyone's going to notice.
I don't know if you ever have it. Sometimes if I get a voice note from a friend and they're chatty, but like kind of like casual chatty, I will sometimes increase the speed to like 1.5. I could sometimes manage a 2. People are probably slowing us down.
I have listened to our podcast back sometimes and been like, did I accidentally put us on 2 speed?
I don't think they could do it on YouTube. You could do it where you can go to like 0.75, 0.5. I think most things assume that you only ever want to speed it up. We probably could do it being slower. I'm sorry.
We could.
We're like podcast Gilmore Girls, but just talking about murder.
Exactly. Also, we end up having a lot. Well, you don't have a lot of caffeine. I was going to say I sometimes have a lot of caffeine.
Caffeine or Barocca?
That was a wild episode.
It was. I sadly didn't include any of the like specific Barocca clips, even though they were entertaining. But yeah, I don't drink caffeine. To be fair, my energy levels are pretty high anyway, so me with caffeine, I can't imagine it being very pleasant.
I'm going to hop you up one time and like send you off into the podcast world. I won't need to talk. You'll just talk the whole time.
Don't, because I feel like the episode it would, by the time this comes out, people will have heard it, is obviously your last episode, which was about cheese. And I had so many really ridiculously bad puns. And I feel like that's the level of energy that I would bring with that much caffeine. So maybe we don't want that.
And probably by the time you've heard this, again, Jess needs to just review my episode. I have planned to cut out quite a bit.
Oh, you're going to cut all my good, like, stupid puns?
No, I'm keeping your puns in, but every time we went off tangent, because we went off tangent about every minute and a half.
Wow.
It was a lot.
Let's hope that's not the case for today, because I do have 6 pages of notes. And
okay.
It's not double spaced. It's fine. However, it's been so long now, and even though I have listened to the episode recently, I gave my teasers, and I thought I wrote them down, and now I can't find the notes, so I'm going to have to guess.
I know it. No, I know your teasers. I know your teasers.
What are my teasers?
So your teasers are a fair, fishing cooler, and blood donation.
Okay, cool. I did think it was along those lines because I remembered at the time I had 2 different possibilities of teasers. So yeah.
That's probably what was confusing you.
Would you like me to get into the case?
I would like you to get into the case.
Amazing. So my sources for this week are Wikipedia, Murderpedia, FBI.gov, Delaware Online, the LA Times, Vocal Media, Irish Independent, and the Doe Network.
Oh, okay. That tells me a lot.
Yeah, I really appreciate the sources. I've had some good sources throughout the researching of different episodes, and I found it really entertaining to be on the Doe Network. Not entertaining as in like haha funny or enjoyable, but just like, gosh, I didn't even know this was a source, which is really bad.
I've heard them talk about it in documentaries, but I've never been on it myself, and I feel like you could, I want to say open a can of worms, and I don't mean that derogatory, I mean that you could lose hours just seeing what's on that website.
I will say it will come up, I think I've got a little bit in my notes about it anyways, but I found the information on this case was actually really centered towards the murderer. and not actually on the victim. So trying to find information on the victim was really hard, and the Doe Network was really good for that one.
Oh, well done, Doe Network.
Thank you for actually, giving some details to this person rather than the horrible one that...
Yeah, that seems to be a running theme, that most of the time it's about the murderer, which I get. We have a true crime podcast. We're intrigued by these heinous acts in terms of it's fascinating, but also I just wish sometimes it'd be a little bit more centered on the victims, because...
Yeah. Like, I found it hard to find out when she was born.
Mad.
Yeah. And I'll go into the details as we get into the notes, but like some of the language that was used to describe her, I hated. I hated it so much.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah. So trigger warnings are bodily harm, adultery, abuse, murder, and guns. I feel like the trigger warning of murder is quite obvious. However, not all true crime is murder. But it was just, I didn't know how to kind of put together the trigger warnings for this one, so I do apologise. Hopefully that covers enough that people feel comfortable with the heads up that I've given them.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds good to me. You did also say last week at the end, when you were giving your teasers, that murder would be involved.
Yeah.
So I expected it to be fairly violent.
I also did say the murderer. So if murder wasn't involved, then we've got to unearth some very strange questions.
Exactly.
So I kind of messed up my own notes here because I've jumped ahead of myself, but I'm starting off with a pretty big spoiler, as I wanted to firstly focus on the victims of the case. Thankfully, this isn't a triple murder.
Okay.
Go me.
Yay.
No cannibalism and no triple murders.
Yay.
But it does focus on a murder, of course, which is the murder of Anne Marie Fahey.
Okay.
It felt really wrong in so many of the sources, like I said, that it focused so much on the killer than it did the person that he killed, which is Anne Marie. So a lot of the information that I found was really basic. The articles and sources gave very little information about Anne Marie, and what bothered me, as I said, was the language that they used, for the fact as well that she's a completely innocent woman in this case, and the murderer is somebody that was kind of like well known, like an outstanding member of the community. That kind of
one of
cliche
things.
Yeah, kind of cliche, kind of like, oh, we shouldn't judge him. I mean, it's a him, sorry. We shouldn't judge him on his worst moment or level of blah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in one article, it referred to her as an insecure woman. One focused purely on her looks, referring to her as fortunate in the geometry of her cheekbones, the tilt of her huge brown eyes, and the curling tresses that framed her beautiful freckled face. Like, it obviously we want to talk about her, about the beauty that was her life and her being a beautiful person. Saying that she was fortunate for being beautiful when she's been murdered by this, I didn't sit very well with me.
You can say something without talking about her looks, or without going into that much detail about her looks. She was smart, she was funny, she was a really kind person. There's so many more adjectives that are not like, you don't need to go into that much detail on her looks. You can say she was pretty. Maybe that is part of it. Sometimes that is a factor, but it's not the only factor, and it's not her whole personality.
No. And another one mentioned that she was single, tall, pretty, and vivacious.
Oh, vivacious doesn't
feel right.
I also don't love that I know, yes, single is a thing, but when you're combining it with vivacious and this and that, it feels almost derogatory.
It also feels like it's putting so much focus on her being at fault for things that happened. Like, oh, she was single and, she had these fortunate with her good looks, as if like, was it Feminine Wiles, like freaking Joanna Dennehy, but making out this person who is the victim in the case being the one that was at fault, which obviously isn't true.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hated everything about the way that most of the news articles referred to her. So I've tried my best to find some actual details about her. It sounds like she was a really lovely person and really passionate about her work, and even that was really hard to find. It literally gave her like a one line, what was her job title, and that was it. It was so frustrating. So yeah, I'm grip my breath.
I can feel already we're going to be yelling in this episode. I'm getting further away from my mic because I know I'm going to be like
So I've done the so thing again. I've got nothing else. It's my thing.
To be fair, we both do it quite a bit. We cut some of them out. Some of them make sense. That one made sense.
Anne-Marie was from an Irish Catholic background, her family having originated from Donegal in Ireland, but had grown up in Delaware, USA. As said, I actually had to use the Doe Network to find out that she was born on January 27th in 1966. Her mother had died from cancer at the age of 9, and her father turned to alcohol to deal with this. He was abusive to Anne-Marie, and a source stated that she would often have to hide from him behind chairs or defend herself with a hockey stick to avoid the abuse.
Wow.
Despite a tumultuous childhood, she was hardworking, and after graduating from Dover's Wesley College in 1991, was fortunate in gaining employment as an aide to Thomas Carper, which upon his election as governor, she was promoted to his scheduling secretary. She was very close to her family, and on June 30th, 1996, she didn't turn up for a planned dinner, worrying her sister, Kathleen, who went to her apartment to look for her. Finding her car was still there, but no sign of Anne-Marie. Her landlord stated he hadn't seen her for several days. The apartment... I know.
Sorry. You're like, oh God.
It's like your murder red flag 101.
Yeah.
Have they been seen? Is all their stuff still there?
And are they in normal contact? Like, if she's meant to turn up to the dinner and she didn't, but she normally does, it's like,
Exactly.
oh no, here we go. I know that we've signed up for a true crime podcast. You said it was a murder. I know what I'm getting into, and yet it still makes me go, oh no, oh no.
So her apartment was in a state of disarray. Her phone was still there with 12 missed calls from her boyfriend and Kathleen, and also her purse was still there. Her sister found 3 letters from a specific person, as well as entries in Fahey's diary, which gave clues to the possibility of a suspect, as it indicated towards an intimate relationship. Her sister contacted the police and reported her missing. That is the scene set. Unfortunately, now we're going to get into the details of our other people involved.
Okay.
The possible suspect that was indicated by the letters and diary entries was Thomas Capano. Thomas Joseph Capano was born October 11th, 1949 in Delaware, USA.
So he's how much older? 17 years.
17 years. 18 years.
I was close.
Close. The only reason I know is because I can see that I have said what their ages are below, I promise.
Okay.
Thomas Capano was one of 4 brothers from a prominent family of real estate developers and building contractors. He graduated from Archmere Academy and became an affluent lawyer, state prosecutor, Wilmington city attorney, legal counsel to Governor Mike Castle, and political consultant, well known in Delaware's political circles.
Oh God, it's going to be so bad. When you combine all of those things when you're talking about a murder case,
you're never going to have a good time when a suspect is a lawyer and has that much influence.
Power, yeah. Okay, continue.
Capano was married with 4 children when in April 1993 he met Fahey at a political fundraiser. Fahey built up the courage to go and speak to him, having known him from within the Democratic public space, being quite a well-known public figure. From this meeting, the two engaged in a 3-year affair. And as a point, she is 27 and he is 45. Capano took Fahey to expensive restaurants and wooed her, and on her 28th birthday, she writes in her diary about Capano that she is in love with him.
Okay.
Don't like this.
No, this is giving me bad vibes.
So there was not actually a huge amount of detail on their actual affair, as there were only a few people that knew about it. Because one, it's an affair.
Yeah.
He is, man is married with 4 children. She also is keeping it a secret from her family, though.
Well, probably because it's an affair.
Probably because it is an affair. Apparently there was some people within the public offices that knew what was going on. I don't know whether this was
Probably because they're banging at work. Oh no, they're not at the same work, are they?
They aren't, but I suppose so she's working for the governor. So, do you know what I mean? She's working for the governor and he's working in a public office. They're going to cross paths sometimes and probably using the job as a way to help the affair time, I guess.
Yeah, and probably coincidentally, in inverted commas, be in the same place at the same time, the same conventions. I don't really know what political people go to. But...
Conventions.
Do you know what,
Well, they met a political fundraiser. So
see, basically a convention, same thing.
There's money, there's shows and talks and things.
Exactly.
I imagine that he probably had a person that dealt with his diary and things. So he probably had told a few people in his inner circle, as had she, to sort of make the affair easier to manage. But she wasn't telling anybody, and obviously he wasn't telling anyone either. It was, however, discovered that Capano was having multiple affairs, other than with
Oh,
Fahey.
wild that. I would have never guessed.
Oh, it couldn't have got any more garbage. Just you wait.
I want to know though how is he organising multiple affairs and 4 kids?
This is the thing. I don't mean to generalise based on gender, but if a man is having an affair and with a family, it's much easier to kind of like fit that into your schedule.
Yeah, to be fair, as I was saying, and 4 kids, I did immediately think he is a garbage human being. He's not looking after those 4 kids. He's not home.
No.
He's
His
not
wife
doing any
is.
of this. But still, multiple affairs.
However, as well, I would like to preface that that is a generalisation. There are lots of very, very ingrained dads and husbands and things in their relationships that are not off having affairs.
They're not garbage human beings. He
No.
is a garbage human being. So subsequently, I can't imagine he's a good dad.
No, it's always made me wonder when someone goes like, "Oh, I found out my partner had a second family," and I'm like, "How?" I struggle to fit my current life in. Well, who has the time?
Yeah.
Like, I can't manage my own schedule. How am I managing 2 families? Like,
exactly.
are the cats being sick in both of them? What if both cats are sick in both houses? How do we cope with this?
You will go into the overwhelmed mental breakdown realms.
I would have no hair anytime. There would never be any hair. Ever.
No.
I'd live in a constant state of bald.
Maybe that's why some of these men are bald.
Maybe.
Okay.
I'm
see
so sorry.
now. I see.
They're really bad. Okay.
I don't. He's garbage.
He's so garbage. A year into their relationship, Capano's marriage ends, which, you know, what did we expect? Maybe it doesn't say why, in the sense of, like, did he end it? Did his wife end it? Did she find out about the affairs? No clue.
In my law, she's decided that she needs better and has left him.
So he does move out and he moves into his own apartment, which is useful to know because it ends up being a part of our scene. Fahey was not happy at the idea that she was the reason for his marriage ending, and eventually Fahey found...
Sorry. She's okay with being the other woman, but not okay causing the relationship to end.
I guess not. Maybe she liked being... What's it like, having your cake and eating it too? Like, she liked having the man on her arm and the romancing and the wooing, but then was like, but I don't want this to be a serious relationship. Can you just go away because I need my own space?
That's fine. That I have no issues with. But if you are going to engage in an affair with a married man where you know his wife doesn't know about you, if that marriage breaks down because of the affairs, don't then be shocked.
Yes. To be fair, I'm bothered now at my notes because I'm wondering whether there was information as to whether Capano ended the relationship for Fahey, considering what comes next, and I apologise if I have messed up. I do have a correction to add at the end of this episode. Don't let me forget about my last episode as well, about something incorrect in my research and my notes. Eventually, Fahey found Capano controlling, overbearing, and extremely jealous. He started to become quite obsessed with her. She sought to end the relationship, but Capano threatened to expose the affair. In the midst of the affair, in September 1995, Fahey actually starts a relationship with a different man, Michael Scanlon, the community affairs chief of MBNA American Bank. Fahey did not tell Capano about this relationship, and I'm also assuming that Michael Scanlon doesn't know about her affair.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I feel like if you're saying to someone you're going to expose them for an affair, you wouldn't then be telling your boyfriend.
But also, she's ended the relationship with, what's the main guy's name?
Capano.
Well,
she hasn't ended it. She's tried to end it.
Yeah, but he should have got the picture. So she's free to go date someone else.
Well, yeah, like if she's kind of made the case like, I don't want to be in the relationship with you anymore, but then he's threatened to expose her and the affair. I don't know whether, it's very confusing.
Yeah, okay.
On June 27th, 1996, she goes to dinner with Thomas Capano, and from then is never seen again. With the police now investigating her disappearance and the evidence found at her apartment, they are able to treat Capano as a suspect. Capano did admit to the police to the affair. He had told the police that he invited Anne-Marie to dinner in Philadelphia, and he said the evening had went well, they exchanged pleasantries, and he saw her home. According to Capano, they parted on good terms. Would you believe him?
No.
No, I don't think I would either.
I don't think so.
As well as I'm pretty sure that the boyfriend had gone to the apartment when the sister had obviously said that she was missing. She had meant to meet up with a boyfriend as well. So I think she was meant to meet up with the boyfriend in the day and then have dinner with her family in the evening. So both the boyfriend and the sister were looking for her at this point. So you as the police have been told that she's having an affair with this man.
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh yeah, I'm the last person that saw her, but
also
not just do anything.
Not just having an affair with this man, trying to break off the affair.
Well, the police wouldn't know that.
But when they find the evidence of her diary and stuff, is it not in there?
True, yeah. Yeah,
I assume once they've got the evidence, they find out she's probably put it in her diary that I tried to end it, he won't let me, because otherwise where are they finding that information from?
That's true.
It makes him more of a suspect if you won't leave.
Yeah. So the issue at this point is that they obviously, apart from the evidence of the affair, they don't have any evidence to back up that Capano is involved in any way with Anne-Marie's disappearance. 4 weeks pass and there are no new leads of the case, and police again go back to Thomas Capano. He at this point has lawyered up and is much less cooperative.
I'm surprised he was cooperative at any point.
I suppose in his mind he thought at the beginning maybe there's nothing to tie me to anything, so I'll just be like, yeah, we were having an affair and I saw her last, but I got nothing to do with this. Who knows?
Suspicious.
According to Tom's financial records, he had bought carpet a day and a half after Anne-Marie was last seen. Well, I said last seen alive, but at this point they don't know that she's dead. So I should have really just put there last seen.
Yeah.
Police believe they had enough evidence to get a search warrant and went through Capano's home and vehicles. They found a bloodstain. Wait, I don't know what I've put here. I should have read these through. I said they found a bloodstain remover.
Oh, like a bleach type.
Maybe.
Thing.
Or like a cleaner.
Yeah.
But then I don't know whether they
carpet cleaner, like you got the.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes complete sense now that I think about it.
Was it?
They found
with the brush and the.
Yeah, Dr. Beckman.
Yeah, Dr. Beckman. That's the word
thing.
that I was trying to. I realised it's not a visual medium. You can't see me making the scrubbing movements.
I think it's because I put the A. I put they found a bloodstain remover, whereas I should have probably just written they found bloodstain remover. So that's probably my fault.
Yourself.
I've confused myself, so I do apologise. So they found bloodstain remover and hard copies of emails from back and forth between the two lovers. There were also small bloodstains on a metal radiator cover and some woodwork. And one more thing was the fact that a love seat and a rug were missing from the same place they found the blood. Okay. So right now, evidence is not looking in his favour.
No, but why did he print off the emails?
Who knows? He crazy maybe. But yeah, when you find evidence that somebody's bought new carpet a day and a half after their lover or ex-lover has disappeared, and also that a love seat and a rug are missing from a space where they found blood,
it's not good news.
I'm not gonna lie.
It's gonna be great.
This actually goes on for a while, and I don't quite grasp how. But I'm also not a police person, so I don't know what are the legal requirements to be able to bring charges against somebody. So yeah.
Yeah, it might be this is suspicious. Everyone kind of knows it's him, but there's no concrete evidence that would fly in a court.
Yeah. In a stroke of luck, Fahey had donated blood weeks earlier that the investigators were able to recover. And forensic blood donation. There you go. Forensic exams linked Fahey's blood to the blood found in Capano's house. So
yay! Everyone go and get. I mean, not yay, because obviously we don't want her to have been murdered. But everyone go donate blood, because if you do get murdered, it might save you. I mean,
I think timing-wise was pretty on their side for when the blood, because obviously if the blood's then in somebody else's body, then you're shut out of luck.
Yeah. But if you regularly donate, also you are just saving other people's lives when you donate blood, so do that.
Yeah, that is the perk really from donating blood, not just in case I get murdered. To be fair, I saw something the other day which was, it is really clever but also wild that people should have to consider this when they go out on a hike, and it was somebody saying that they put a boot print of their hiking boot onto a piece of paper or a bit of plastic or whatever, and then put it in the front of their car so that if they ever went missing when on a hike, they could track their boot.
That's mad.
So Yeah, I've heard of some people within like the true crime space having like in a case of missing folder and stuff.
Should we do that?
I don't really know, because then I feel like I'm creating the juju. I'm like instigating the things.
We have a lot of bad juju anyway. Between the two of us, we're pretty cursed.
Yeah, if I then put together a file of if I go missing, do these things, like I'm just kind of asking the murderer to kill me. Here's
True.
a vial of my blood. Use it to test my DNA.
Part of me is like, no, we absolutely need an in case of going missing file. And the other half of me is like, oh yeah, maybe we are putting it into the world if we do it.
Exactly. Really, all that's inside of the case of missing file is please delete my Kindle history, and then that's it.
All that fairy smut. Well, I want a book talk, so I'm going to be putting it publicly in the world, being like, yes, this is what I enjoy.
That's true.
Listeners, would you have an in case of going missing file? Let us know.
Maybe somebody out there has one already. Like we're saying, would you have? If someone has an in case of missing file or something of that equivalent, I'd love to know. And like what you put in it as well. If it's just like, oh, it's my bank details and like passwords to important things so that my significant other can log in and like, you know, have access to all my stuff. That makes sense.
That makes sense, but I don't think you would call it an in case of missing file.
True.
I feel like you would only have one of these if you are concerned that you're with someone that you might go missing.
Yeah, it always gets me when you hear of these cases and someone will turn around and say, oh, if I get murdered, then this is my like prime suspect. And there's like, oh, ex-boyfriend or ex-partner.
Yeah, but I guess abuse, and you are in most danger when you initially try and leave.
Poor Fahey. I feel like that's ended up being the case for her here, so very sorry.
I mean, this in case of going missing has taken a dark turn. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Back to the case.
Back to the case.
With this mounting evidence, police begin to create a narrative believing that Anne-Marie had attempted to end their relationship and Capano had shot Fahey in retaliation. Despite all this, the police have no body, and so there are no arrests made. Like, that's what I don't understand. How can they have not arrested him when they have all this stuff? They've got the blood in the house.
They've got the blood in the house. They know it's her blood, and I'm assuming it's a lot of blood. I'm assuming it's not just like you would get a paper cut and kind of blood. I assume it.
I mean, he had blood remover, so maybe it was just a spot of blood. And obviously they were having an affair. He could have come up with some excuse of like, oh, that drop of blood there is because she cut herself one time when she was over.
If it's a drop, that makes sense. I don't think you're covering up a pool of blood ever.
From the sounds of it, I don't think it's a pool of blood.
Oh, okay. But if they think she got shot...
Again, though, the carpet's gone, so the love seat and the rug...
underneath, surely?
I don't know. Unless he's really quick with cleanup.
And also, why do they think shot?
I think that will come with details.
Okay.
So, police uncover a 10-page letter written by Capano detailing facts about his relationship with Fahey and a timeline that mentioned he had been with his younger brother, Jerry, the day after Fahey's disappearance. This leads investigators to turn their focus to Jerry. Jerry owned a boat, and police believe that this may have been used in the disposal of Fahey's body, but they needed evidence. Investigators went to examine the boat, and they found out that Jerry sold it days after Anne-Marie went missing. They found the boat and its new owner, who told them that the boat's anchors were missing when he bought it, leading them to believe that the anchors had been used as part of the disposal of her body, meaning it was unlikely they would find her, but they still needed more.
Okay, I was trying really hard not to immediately interrupt on multiple occasions there. Why is he writing a 10-page document with a timeline of what he's done when? Why? I mean, I know why selling the boat immediately after, but isn't that just a big red, like, wow, wow, I'm the murderer, wow, wow. Like, same with the buying the carpet straight after, wow, wow, murderer, wow, wow.
Not gonna lie, the sources for this were really ski-whiff. They were all over the place with the information, so I apologise if it feels like it's coming across in my notes because they're very sporadic. I also did write them in a rush. But in the sense of, but I have to say it, in the sense of...
sometimes you can say it.
In the sense that I don't know whether because he's a lawyer or like he's within politics, I don't know whether he's just stupid or he generally just thinks he would get away with it.
Both, I think.
Yeah. There's also a few differing stories of like when in the way that I went through the sources, things were all in different orders and timelines. Like, whereas before we've said like, oh, this source told me this thing that differed from this bit of information, but it's within the same structure of the timeline. These ones were all over the place. So I don't know whether it was just he didn't give proper information, or it's just been compiled by so many different people in the sort of sphere of like out there, and it's obviously a relatively old case, but it was a bit of a dumpster fire trying to research it.
Well, it sounds it for you, but also it sounds it in the case because it's all over the place. But he definitely bought new carpet after the murder. He definitely printed off the emails between them. He definitely wrote a timeline. And what else did he write in? It was a timeline, but also about their relationship.
It was facts about his relationship. And obviously there was also her diary, which would have given
her diary makes
maybe
sense.
It's like his diary. It's almost like a man diary. It's a Capano diary. 10-page letter. Or maybe he was treating
They found it after the murder, or he wrote it after the murder, or you don't know?
They found it after. It doesn't specifically say when he wrote it, but they found it after the murder. Maybe he could almost be treating it like an alibi as well, because it says that he was with the younger brother.
Sorry, I yelled into the microphone. Sorry, guys. This is what I'm thinking. This is why I think it's weird. It feels like he's setting himself up to have an alibi, to be like, yes, we were having an affair, and then like a load of, in inverted commas, facts about their relationship to make him seem, oh look, I'm so good, I couldn't have been the murderer, and put everything on her. And it just doesn't make sense unless it is like a diary. A diary does make sense.
Maybe they called it a letter and actually it's more like a diary. But then from the sounds of it, if you have a diary, you've been writing in it consistently through time. Whereas this just sounds like he's writing it only about him and Fahey, and then obviously the
it just sounds odd. It just sounds like like, number one, I am in an affair. Number two, I did not murder her. Number three, I was with my brother.
Yeah.
Like,
I obviously didn't kill her because I was with Jerry that day.
Exactly. We were on Jerry's boat. Jerry sold the boat. Like, it sounds very, I'm sure it's not like this, but it sounds very like a kid would put it. In my head, it's like, no, I definitely wouldn't do this.
I don't imagine it was that derivative, but you never know. He doesn't sound like the sharpest tool in the box, even with all of his accolades and different, job titles.
Exactly. Sure, continue.
Police begin to work on an operation to, and I'm going to do it like in inverted commas, catch Jerry, who has his own personal stuff going on, leading the police to believe that they can catch him doing something bad that would then help them in the case.
Okay.
So Jerry is a drug...
I was going to say, are you going to tell us?
I'm going to tell you. Jerry is a drug user, and the operation ends up with police finding drugs and 21 firearms in Jerry's home. Afraid to go to jail and the possibility of losing custody of his children as they were in the house at the time of the police raid, Jerry admits to the police that he helped Capano dispose of a body.
Okay.
So Jerry's just like laying it all out.
Yeah, sure, fine. That makes sense. I'm not shocked by that.
So this is the information that leads police to charge Capano with the murder of Anne-Marie, and he is arrested in November 1997, over 16 months after her initial disappearance. So that's what I don't understand. Like, 16 months is a long time for what I feel like they had a fair amount of evidence. They had her diary entries, the bloodstains, the information about him. I know that it was Jerry's admission of him helping Capano dispose of a body that led to this kind of all coming together and him being arrested. But in a sense of where things fell in that 16 months, maybe it was in a different order or how they found out bits of information. But
I was going to say, like, was it Jerry's admission that they were waiting on because that's solidifying everything? How long did it take them to kind of convince Jerry to admit that he helped dispose of the body? Because that might take a little while. I don't know. I don't know how these things work. In my head, this all happened in a week. It didn't happen.
No, it's 16 months. It's a long time.
Yeah.
Again, there is different information later which helps towards the idea of Capano shooting her, but I don't know whether that is what led police to believe that from the beginning, because that stuff comes out in the trial. Again, they believe that Capano shot and killed Fahey in his apartment. This is just all that the source said, that the police believe this.
Sure.
So I don't know where that narrative came from, but police believe that Capano shot and killed Fahey in his apartment.
I also love where you're like, Anna, we are gonna find some of this out later. Because I
promise.
No, tell me now simultaneously when you're telling me everything else. Like, it's, you know, when you read ahead in a book, like your eyes try and get ahead because you're so not excited, but you want to know more quickly. I feel that's what I'm doing now. I'm like, no, tell me everything all at once within this 1 second. I need to know the whole story. I'm not being very patient.
But then it's a massive spoiler. And I've also,
I know,
the way...
I know, you've done it in a way that makes sense, but at the same time, my brain's running away with me.
So yeah, they believe that Capano shot and killed Fahey in his apartment. He had dumped the bloody sofa and carpet that was stained with her blood into a dumpster owned by his other brother, who arranged for it to be emptied early to dispose of the evidence. Also, therefore, adding Louis...
Just, this is the dumbest lawyer ever.
So dumb.
Like, can't fucking think of... I mean, don't think of anything because you got arrested and that's what we want. But, wow, murderer. Wow.
He's really stacking up the evidence at this point, as well as bringing in multiple people into his crime.
But not just multiple people, not just random multiple people. His whole family.
Maybe there was a part of him that thought that his brothers wouldn't turn on him, and that is not true.
Really? I was gonna say, I feel like my sister would turn on me in a hot second. She'd be like, "Nah, that was all her."
To be fair,
rightly so. I would turn on Katie if she murdered someone.
Yeah, I don't think I'd have it in me to just let a family member get away with murdering somebody. However, these people do help him. This is not just Capano running around going and doing stuff willy-nilly. Like, these people do help him.
No.
They just turn on him in the end. So.
Just last minute switcheroo.
So yeah, obviously use the brother's dumpster, I believe in like his place of business, to dump the evidence. The brother is called Louis, and now he is part of the murder plot. Capano stuffs Fahey's body. So again, this is what the police believe, but they do get this confirmed by Jerry.
Okay, I was going to say, by the information we'll get later on.
By the information we'll get later on, but I just knew you needed something, otherwise you were just going to be like, how do you know this? So, Capano stuffs Fahey's body into a large igloo fishing cooler, which he had purchased 2 months before Fahey's murder, leading to believe...
What's an igloo fishing cooler?
Igloo is the brand.
Oh, okay. I was imagining
No, it's not like a round, cute little fishing cooler that you'd see on ice fishing lakes or something. Yeah, unfortunately, Igloo is just the brand.
Okay. Can you tell I don't leave the house?
I think it's also a very American brand, to be fair, but it's huge. It's a really big cooler. It's not like me that drags my little cooler along to Eastbourne Extreme on a trolley. This is like the size of the back of your car. Like, you could fit your entire back seat inside it.
Okay. Wild. Okay, sure.
Because he purchased the cooler 2 months before Fahey's murder, it led police to believe that he had been planning to do this all along and it had been premeditated.
Sorry, who I wasn't listening because I was imagining the igloo cooler. Who bought the cooler?
Capano did, not the I suppose they're all called Capano because they're all brothers. Thomas Capano.
Yeah, okay.
The murderer.
Yeah.
If we haven't established already, if you hadn't figured it out, Thomas Capano is the murderer. And he's just dragging in Jerry and Louis all over the place. They do bring out an igloo fishing cooler in the trial, which there is information on later. So I will include a picture of the cooler in the teasers so that people can see the size of it, because it's quite big. After Capano stuffed Fahey's body into the cooler, he went to Jerry and asked Jerry to help him with the use of his boat to dispose of the body. They loaded the ice cooler into Tom's truck and then onto Jerry's boat. They drove to Stone Harbor, New Jersey, and boarded the boat. They drove the boat some 16 miles offshore to an area known as Mako Alley. When they attempted to dump the cooler overboard, it didn't sink. Jerry shot the cooler with a 12-gauge shotgun, and it still didn't sink. They dragged the cooler back onto the boat. Tom removed Fahey's body from the cooler, and using the two boat's anchors, put her body back in the water where she proceeded to sink. They also then disposed of the cooler into the water.
With the anchors as well?
No, just on its own.
Oh, okay.
I guess because it's open at this point and
the water came in.
Yeah, goes into the holes.
Okay, I see.
So this information has all been provided by Jerry. So that's where this information has come from. This isn't just what police believe Jerry is. A week after Fahey's death, the cooler was discovered by some fishermen who pulled it from the ocean. They plugged the holes in it and began to use it for their catches, which is like really sad. Can you imagine being the fisherman that did this?
Yeah.
It wasn't. I know.
I couldn't eat that fish.
Could you imagine if you were the fisherman that have the cooler and they've been bringing these fish home to their families, and then they find out later that they it would all be tainted. I'd never be able to eat fish again.
I would have. I mean, also don't pick up rubbish off the side of the road.
Well, don't pick up rubbish that has gunshots in it. Yeah. Like, it's a 12-gauge shotgun. Like, it's gonna have damage that will look like a bullet hole. Like, surely you'd think that.
Surely maybe don't, like, stick some duct tape over it and continue with your day. Like, maybe question something.
Question why there's a fishing cooler in the ocean with bullet holes in it, maybe.
Maybe.
It was not until a year later, after the story about the cooler made the news, that one of the fishermen got in touch with the FBI and reported their find. The cooler became a key piece of evidence corroborating the brothers' story. On November 12, 1997, after they learned that he might be attempting to flee the country, authorities decided to pursue a state trial, which began in October. This is for Thomas Capano, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Is this after he was arrested?
So he's been arrested, but at this point he's just... I'm assuming he's out on bail. Yeah, I'm assuming he's out on bail, probably because he's got loads of power and authority and money.
And he's just trying to fuck off and board a plane.
He's just trying to run away.
Sure.
So they're like, right, let's go to trial. So the trial began in October 1998. Capano was pleading not guilty and stating that he didn't have any knowledge of Fahey's death and that the evidence that the police presented was false.
Right off. Sorry, you've got all of this evidence. I've got to get away from my microphone. You've got all of this evidence and all of this corroborating stories, and you're like, I didn't even know she died. I just thought she stopped contacting me. Fuck right off. You wouldn't have accepted that. You wouldn't have accepted. No. You didn't accept her when she was like, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore. Your story is full of holes. It's bullshit.
I'm not going to lie. It gets worse. However, I would say that I don't know whether Capano knew at this point whether his brothers had provided all this information, because they are presented as witnesses for the prosecution. Yeah. So in the sense of, like, if he's just sitting there thinking that the only information they've got is possibly a bloodstain, and not they're sitting there with his brothers in his back pocket going, well, hey, wait till you see what happens in trial.
Yeah, but even still, even if you take the brothers admitting these things out of it, you've got shitloads of evidence. Okay, circumstantial, but shitloads of evidence. You wouldn't accept when she tried to end the relationship the first time, and then she's just gone missing and not contacted you. Do you think you would have accepted that? No, he would have hunted her down. If she actually disappeared, he would have hunted her down until he could kill her. I mean, that's the only way this was ending.
Like they're saying, if he bought the cooler with that all in mind, like, going from the understanding that because he bought the cooler 2 months before, it wasn't something that he was using recreationally before. I don't know.
He wasn't going fishing.
No, he wasn't going fishing. It was only for this. But yeah, he was stating that he didn't have any knowledge of Fahey's death and that the evidence the police presented was false, with the defence claiming that he and Fahey were watching television at his home on June 27th, 1996, considering that, thinking back to his earlier statement, that he said that on the night of them going to dinner in Philadelphia, that they had parted ways on good terms. He's now saying that they were watching TV. Like,
they parted ways on such good terms that they did dinner, then went back to his, watched TV, and then... okay, again, sure, fine.
Just you wait. When another mistress, they're sitting watching TV, when another mistress, Deborah McIntyre, called and asked to come over. He told her he had company. McIntyre proceeded to come over, and finding Capano with Fahey, went ballistic, produced a gun from her bag, and by accident the gun went off, hitting Fahey. So this is what the defence are claiming.
He knows she's dead.
Funny, the story has now changed.
What? Wild that. Suddenly, he went from, no, I didn't even know, she just stopped messaging me, to, no, I did know about it. This other mistress killed her. Also, the dick's not that good. I just can tell. It's not that good.
Yeah, I believe it.
It's not. There is... Not one of these women is having an orgasm.
Not a single one.
Not a single one.
It. Capano stated that in an attempt to protect himself and McIntyre, decided to do the worst thing possible and dispose of the body. So now not only is he saying that he knew that Fahey was dead, but he's now saying that he did actually dispose of her body in an attempt to protect his mistress. And this is somehow his defense. This is his defense.
I mean, probably because there's so much evidence against him that
it's not good defense. He's pleading not guilty.
It's a really bad defense. But I suppose
He's pleading not guilty.
They've got to tie everything together. So his lawyers have probably come up with this. But it's douchey because he's bringing someone else into this and trying to blame it on her. But secondly, again, I don't know what the timeline is from him being like, no, I didn't know she was dead, to, yes, I did know and I disposed of the body. But again, in my head, it's within a conversation. Do you know what I mean?
Honestly.
He started it with, no, I didn't know, to, yeah, actually I did, and I chucked her in the lake.
Honestly.
I'm ready to rage again. I'm like on edge.
It's not great. It doesn't get any better, does it?
It doesn't get any better, and also I'm beginning to feel like this podcast is not good for our stress levels. Mm-mm. Because for the last 3 episodes we've said that we're on edge.
Yeah, and then we're just like pure anxiety and like nerves and everything like bubbling away underneath. In court testimony, Capano said he laid Fahey's body into the cooler on her side. He testified, by the way, for himself.
I mean, idiot.
He said he pushed her knees into a fetal position, but insisted he broke no bones to make her body fit. That will be important.
He said this.
It will be important.
Sorry, I'm short-circuiting. He said this in his defense that yes, he put her body in the cooler, but he didn't break. He's testifying to this. Sorry, I can't even like finish a sentence. Jesus.
It feels like he's trying to make it out that he was doing something really decent. Like he's trying to protect his mistress that accidentally killed her. And he's being so delicate with her and placing her really nicely into a cooler that he also bought 2 months earlier. Like, it's all bullshit. The whole situation is bullshit. Like, honestly. Oh, and he also wrapped her body in a blanket. I'm sorry.
Oh, so nice.
These are not good gestures. These are not good gestures. Whether obviously it wasn't an accident. It wasn't.
But if it was an accident and a gun had gone off, do you know what would be the decent thing?
Not putting her body in a cooler.
Telling her family. Not putting her body in the cooler. Not putting her body in, was it ocean or lake? Whichever.
I think it was the ocean.
In the ocean. Not just, you know what? Telling the police, but also telling her loved ones.
Yep.
That would have been decent.
Yep. What did we expect of this garbage bag? Honestly. And then to add insult to injury, after he says all this stuff about like, oh, he was doing this to protect McIntyre, he portrays her as jealous, aggressive, and a liar, disputing every aspect of her testimony, even how their relationship started. Because McIntyre testifies that about 6 weeks before Fahey's murder, Capano ordered her to buy a gun and give it to him, and stated that she was not at Capano's apartment that night and did not kill Fahey. So...
Sorry, he's bringing someone else in that's, again, easily traceable, and he's buying all these other things and connecting himself with his brothers being part of this, but the gun is too far.
The gun's too far. He can't buy his own gun. He's got to get his mistress to do it for him. So, yeah. But like I said, he's a garbage human. He can't take responsibilities for his own actions and is basically trying to use this woman as a scapegoat, which is just fantastic. As said, both Jerry and Louis, the brothers, also testify against Tom. FBI agents from the Wilmington Resident Agency and the FBI laboratory testified and provided the bulk of evidence. So that is everything that comes together in the trial. The jury does not believe his story.
What? Could it be the flashing sign above him going, whoa, whoa, murderer, whoa, whoa? I really like making that noise. I'm really sorry.
You do like that noise.
I do like it.
This is why I was saying that the information of him saying about the cooler was so important, was because as part of the trial, one of the jurors, Erin Riley Lee, juror number 8, climbed into a cooler that was provided as evidence to prove that someone of Anne Marie's height and weight could fit inside. Erin Riley Lee was of the same build as Anne Marie. I can't remember whether it said that she volunteered or whether they asked her if she wanted to, but she got inside the cooler with her heels on, so fair play. However, Lee squirmed inside... Oh, sorry.
I think you're about to tell me what I'm about to ask. I was going to say, so she did fit. Yeah, you're about to answer what I was about to ask.
Yep. Lee squirmed inside the cooler. The lid wouldn't close, and that's when some of the jurors realised Fahey's bones might have been broken or worse to make the corpse fit. This convinced the jury that Capano was a manipulative liar, a cold-blooded killer, and on January 17th, 1999, they voted to convict him for the murder of Anne-Marie Fahey. Capano was sentenced to death, but upon appeal, that sentence was later changed to life in prison without parole. It is one of the very few first-degree US murder cases that have got a conviction, even though there was no body, no weapon, and no witness to the kill.
I was going to say, it's quite impressive. Normally, they say if there's no body, it's really hard to convict someone. So, extremely impressive that they managed to do it without that. But also without the murder weapon and without a witness.
Yeah.
Like, that's
I suppose
insane.
there was enough. There was no witness, obviously, of the killing itself, but there was Jerry corroborating it, and there was enough background evidence. Obviously, like you said, no, or I said, or whoever said, I said it, no body, no weapon. So, in that sense of like, it is quite surprising.
Yeah.
But Jerry said all about the details of the case. They found the cooler in the ocean, which backs that up. The anchor's missing off of the boat, so that backs up the story about how they disposed of her body. The brother Louis corroborated the evidence that the love seat and the carpet were dumped into his dumpster and that he arranged for it to be picked up early, so obviously that it wouldn't be
And
found.
I assumed he saw the love seat and the carpet probably with bloodstains on.
So it was one thing that I didn't include in my notes and my research because it was really hard to figure out at what point it came in the story and at what point it was like being stated. But one of the like stories of how Fahey disappeared was supposedly Louis said that Capano had told him that he had broken up with Fahey or she had a...
Oh yeah, so no, sorry, I love that. Just in that, not obviously not that story, but I love in this telling of the story, it's not that she broke up with him, it's that he broke up with her.
Yeah.
I feel like that's very telling of him as a person.
Yeah. I'm going to add the quick trigger warning because it wasn't in my original trigger warnings because I did see this in part of the notes, but again, I'll say because it wasn't part of the full research because I didn't know how it fitted within the story and whether it was accurate. So I'll give a quick trigger warning for self-harm. So the next information is in that thread. Capano apparently told Louis, the brother, that Fahey had cut her wrists on the love seat in his apartment, and that was why he was disposing of it, and obviously then disposing of her body because she'd basically taken her own life. Found one source that stated it, and obviously this is, if it was something that Capano had said, it wouldn't obviously be factual anyways, but pulling Louis, the brother, into the story in the fact of he, from this information from both the stuff being disposed of in the dumpster and him helping with it, you would, like you said, he probably would have seen the love seat and the rug covered in blood.
Yeah, and also, if that had been the case, obviously we know that this is all bullshit, but had that story happened, why are you disposing of the body?
Yeah.
Why aren't you calling the ambulance? Why aren't you doing something to help the situation?
Yeah. If you were in the presence of somebody that decided to self-harm to the point where they are passing away, you would call an ambulance and try and help them.
Yeah, 100%. Surely. And you should have some kind of affection for them if you're having an affair with them.
Yeah. But like I said, I know I have now included it because I've talked about it, but I didn't include that information just because it didn't really have much to back it up. It was kind of almost like a weird tidbit of like, oh, Capano had also told Louis this, but it was only in one source and didn't really give much to the case, it didn't feel like. So as I mentioned, it was obviously one of very few first-degree US murder cases that got a conviction, even though there was no body, no weapon, and no witness, and the deliberations only lasted 3 days. I feel like even with... It is quite quick, but I feel like there was enough. And his bullshit reasoning from the defence is just absolutely ridiculous.
I don't know what they were trying to do there.
I feel like they thought it was really clever, and it obviously really wasn't. Obviously, his death sentence was changed to life in prison without parole. However, Capano died of a heart attack on September 19th, 2011 at 61.
Couldn't have happened to a better person.
Great that he is no longer around, but obviously, yeah,
it was suffer a little bit. How long was he in prison at that point?
So that would have been 12 years.
Okay. At least he was in prison for a little while. A
little while. There was no murder weapon or body ever discovered in the case, so they still, to this day, have never found Anne-Marie's body, which is really sad.
That is sad. I assume if it's in the ocean, it could be anywhere, and I can only assume that's where he got rid of the murder weapon as well.
Possibly, and also weighing down something with an anchor anchors obviously have a purpose, and that is to
Mm.
sit at the bottom of the ocean.
Mm.
The painful experience of Anne-Marie's death led to the establishment of the Friends of Anne-Marie Fahey Foundation, a charitable trust set up by Kathleen Fahey Hosey in memory of her sister. So that was really, really nice.
Yeah. And what does that kind of provide?
Oh, I didn't check. I'm so sorry.
No, you're all right.
Let me find out. Okay, I've searched the website that it tells me to go to, and it says it cannot be found. So it might have been a thing at the time, and it's not anymore, so I'm really sorry. It came from my Irish independent source, so it may be that it was a foundation at one point and it no longer is, or the source is incorrect, or it's only available or known information in Ireland. So apologies if that's false.
That's all right. It was just intriguing what, I assume they were raising money and what it was going to. Was it going to something specific, or was it going to help people in domestic abuse situations, or what?
It doesn't tell me, and I'm really, really disappointed. I feel bad now. Okay. But yeah, that is the story of Anne-Marie Fahey, and in sources it is referred to as the ice chest murder.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. But it should be her name, because...
Yeah, fuck Thomas Capano.
Yeah.
Get the fucking bin. But yeah, I'm sorry. It felt a little bit chaotic. I promise. I did do a lot of research. It was just that the sources were really all over the place. Like even the FBI's website was different to some of like Murderpedia and stuff like that. So it's like, where are the sources? Where is this information coming from?
It's hard when it doesn't line up. It's not a easy timeline. It's like, how do you describe it, and how do you make it make sense?
And I wanted to give, because a lot of the stories gave so little information about her, and it was all about him. It was like, you know, reputable lawyer accused of murder, blah, 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 blah. And it was just, yep, he murdered her, put her in a cooler, and then that was it. And it was just like, what? This doesn't...
What it should have been is pathetic little man does pathetic little man things again and ends a life.
It really got to me about how these sort of relationships and this narrative is portrayed in media, particularly when it ends in this kind of
horrific way.
Ends in this way, horrific way. And again, this was somebody talking about her fully knowing that she was the murder victim, making gross comments about the fact that, obviously I mentioned at the beginning, that she had a really unfortunate childhood with a lot of negativity and really difficult relationship with her family. Well, not her family, but specifically her dad, because of how he behaved. And they were like, oh, you know, she grew up with such a hard time that she was looking for a father figure, and that's why she had an affair with Capano. I'm like, no. We don't have to get that deep. We don't have to start like psychology in the situation. It's not her fault. She is not the problem in this situation. He is. Yeah. She is the victim and completely innocent in all of this. She was completely valid in trying to end a relationship with someone that she didn't want to be with anymore.
Exactly.
And he killed her.
Yeah.
That's it. He is the garbage person, and end of.
Doesn't
matter.
100%.
Does not matter that she is younger and they're having an affair. Cool.
That happens all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
it
is what it is.
What's it? Rod Stewart, or, you know, half of these celebrities that are out there dating people 30 years younger. You're not sitting there going, oh, she's looking for a father figure. What happens if he bloody murders her?
Exactly.
Like, yeah. Is it Rod Stewart? I don't know. It's the first
I'm not sure. But, like, are affairs a good thing? No. You shouldn't be having an affair, but that does not warrant being murdered.
Well, no.
And also, it was his marriage, so the onus is on him, not really her.
No, exactly. And I just really disapproved of the narrative they painted for her. I felt quite sad about the situation. So I think Anne-Marie deserved better in all manners of life from what happened to her in the end, and then obviously how the media has portrayed her and continues to portray her, because some of the articles were fairly new. With him passing away in 2011, like the story came up again to obviously talk about like him passing and blah blah blah, and again it was like, renowned lawyer passes away after being in prison. It's like, oh, just... You
could just say, this
murderer dies.
Yeah.
Murderer dies in prison. Great. Less oxygen for you.
Yeah, exactly. It's bullshit. I hate the media.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was my story of the murder of Anne-Marie Fahey.
Well, thank you very much. It was a really interesting story.
It was an interesting case. I found it from the FBI's website. That was the first source I found. I think I searched, like, the AI didn't tell me off. But I think it was just, like, unusual murders or something like that. It was on the FBI's website.
Wow. Well, thank you very much. I'm sorry for yelling so much. I mean, I don't know why I'm saying sorry. I yell every single episode, I think.
It's okay. There was at one point I was very close to my laptop and my mics, even though it's next to it, they're like in the same distance from each other. And I got within sort of like headbutting distance to my laptop. And I was like, oh, I'm
Sorry,
too
listeners.
close. I am
Sorry.
way too close. Yeah, I don't feel like sitting on the floor helps either. I've been kind of fidgety, and I'm very sorry if the audio has been a bit all over the place. If this does become a permanent residence for the recordings, I'll make a bit more of a proper setup.
Yeah, you're going to have to bring down a chair.
Yeah.
To be
So I'm
fair,
not
I'm
sitting
on
on
a
the
little
floor.
stool, so I do the same thing.
I probably could do with a
Fidget.
stool. My back is not appreciating this whatsoever.
My back doesn't like this stool, so you need a proper chair.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you very much. And sorry, listeners, for your poor ears. I would say we'll do better, but we won't. We will yell every single episode.
Yeah, when we edit the episode. So I think we've made comments to each other before where we'll start off kind of quiet or a good amount like tone, and then we'll get progressively louder through the episode. And we use Riverside for our recordings, and you can turn down the volume. And
But
I don't
only
think
overall.
Yeah, only overall. You can't do like individual sections. I don't think I've ever left either of us at 100%.
No.
At a bare minimum, we're at 90%. Otherwise, it's like anything from like 75 to 80 as the standard of what I'm normally putting us at.
My favourite thing, I think it was the first episode. I think one of your comments was, I'm a bit quiet, like as in you were a bit quiet at the beginning. And I just messaged you back, just wait. I was like, I'm not turning you up.
It's not worth it.
Like, I cannot turn you up because you yell later on.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a good case. Well done. And well
Thank
done
you.
for corralling all of the conflicting sources.
Maybe one day I'll do a case that's just really straightforward. To be fair, my last case, the Monster of the Andes, was actually really straightforward and the sources were great. So I can't say maybe a future case will be better.
You've done it.
Yeah, I've already done it. Which is a point that does lead me into my correction that I needed to give.
Sorry, I'd immediately forgotten to tell you about
It's
it.
okay. So the teaser that I've just posted, so obviously this episode is going to be much, much further in the future. So this teaser will be in your long distant past, but I just want to make sure that I give the correction because it is kind of stupid and I'm kind of annoyed at myself for sort of not realising it from either the source that I've got it from or how I've mistakenly written the notes. I call the Ayacuchan tribe that I mention in the Monster of the Andes episode, Pedro Lopez, an Indian tribe, which they obviously can't be because they're in Peru.
So, what kind of tribe?
So I did Google it, and this is the thing that I feel like I've probably messed up on. I've just taken the source for its word or possibly messed up. Unfortunately, I can't be sure whether I've added in Indian tribe or if it's come directly from the source. Normally, the way I do my notes is I read stuff and I'll sort of copy sections that I like, and then I'll take bits and pieces of it and I'll rewrite it in my own words. So I'm not reading verbatim.
Yeah, same.
So I could very well have copied it from a place. I could well have just incorrectly typed it out if I've misread it. So I did Google it, and from what I can tell, again, there's nothing specifically saying about an Ayacuchan tribe, but they would be referred to as people from the Ayacuchan region of Peru, which would like line up with everything. But there's no like specific tribe, if that makes sense. So I maybe it's just of a specific region of people within Peru, and that's maybe where I've got the misunderstanding from. And it was within sort of Inca time and basically within the culture of the Ayacucho region of Peru. So apologies for the misinformation. Someone commented on one of the TikToks.
I was going to say, did someone call you out?
They just put Indian question mark and then like the raised eyebrow emoji, and I was like, oh no, that's a really good point. And I didn't really think about it when I was reading the notes. I was just like, oh, a tribe, and maybe so I do apologize. It's very, very inaccurate of me to do it. So thank you very much for the person that commented on the TikTok. And I just basically said that I would give a shout out in our next episode to say that I messed up.
Well, it's here. The person that commented, this is the correction.
Yeah.
But we meant no harm by it. I didn't notice.
No. Yeah. I will say as well is that we are doing all of our own research. We are trying our absolute best to be as accurate as possible.
And we are humans. We are going to mess things up. I'm surprised that it's taken us till now to mess things up. We're happy to admit mistakes as long as people are nice to us about said mistakes. Don't make us cry. Would you like to hear my teasers for next episode?
Yes, please.
Okay, so my teasers for the next episode are Marrakesh, Shoemaker, and Cell.
Oh, okay. I like. Very nice.
Mysterious.
Yes. I love a different place. I love being able to go to like another place, and because not that, you know, hearing about murders in the UK and the US aren't great, but we have a lot of them.
We do have a lot of them. I think we're hesitant to go to different places just because I don't want to mispronounce names. And I have
I probably
now just
mispronounced
thought,
everybody's name.
I did not think about that I will have to be pronouncing these names.
You'll do great. Just add a disclaimer at the beginning that we can't even form full sentences.
Not in
never mind.
English.
No. We're doing our best.
We're doing our very best.
Well, thank you so much, Bestie, for joining me on this journey.
Thank you for bringing me on this journey. It was great. You did a great job.
And thank you, listeners, for coming along. You can catch us on TikTok and Instagram with the name of, or the account of Crime Time with My Bestie.
Yes, I was waiting to see if you did it. You were like so hesitant for a second. I was like, you remember our podcast name, right?
In my head, I know what our podcast is called. And I was like, what if we're not called that on social media? But I know what we're called on social media, so I'm so sorry.
We are also on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, and basically wherever your podcasting ears would like us to be, that's where we are. I'm trying to come up with new ways of saying.
No, I like it.
Saying
wherever
you
your
can get us
podcasting is.
wherever you listen to your podcasts. It just
I like
sounds a
it.
bit samey.
It's good. It's very like snazzy.
All of my teasers, I try and come up with something slightly different, and it's just getting a little bit unhinged.
No, I must admit, now that I've been told that I have to create different hashtags every time.
Oh yeah,
that's
we got
when my
shadow
brain
banned for a bit, listeners.
Yeah.
We've got shadow banned because we were using the same hashtags.
So I can't come up with different ways to say wherever you listen to your podcast, because I have to come up with different hashtags every time I put the video up. So I don't have it in me to come up with the caption for the video itself, and the like tagline on it, and then more hashtags, and then a different way to say wherever you listen to your podcast. It's too much braining. I don't have it in me. I'm proud of you for doing it, though.
Thank you. I mean, I haven't had to do the hashtags things. I was the one that got shadow banned. Right, bye listeners, and bye bestie.
Bye bestie.
Bye.
Bye.